Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Energetics Podcast. I am your host, Kara Bunde-Dunn, and I am so excited to be having Tiffaney with us today. She is a client of mine. She's done readings, she's done leadership coaching, and you're also in my community, which I think is amazing. And I'm so happy to be here. I wanted to do a community member spotlight. And oh, by the way, we are also going to do a live reading on air. Tiffaney's a brave soul. And she said, yep, you can do a reading on me. No problem. Let's rock. Let's roll. So Tiffaney, welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
That's awesome. Okay. So we've been in each other's worlds for a few years now. And so sometimes when I channel, I may be tapping into things we've already said, and I'll try to disclaimer that for people if I'm like, okay, this is coming in from something they gave me before or whatever it might be. However, I wanted to start with just what caused you to be open to going to a medium, to be open to accessing your own intuition? How does that play into your spiritual or religious perspective? I would love to just anchor in with a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, thank you. So my first connection with a medium was way back in like 2001, probably, yeah, about 2001, maybe 2000, right in that area. And it was my stepdad had died, and so my sister really wanted to connect with her dad, and it was the most profound experience I've ever. I mean, just the detail of what they were sharing, um, and just seeing the healing that my sister went through, and my own healing. Like I didn't even realize I needed to have some healing in that experience myself, and so it was just something that was very intriguing. They even notated that I was pregnant, and I hadn't told anybody yet. And it was just like, wow, like how
You're like,
crazy is that?
holy moly, who's listening in?
I know, right? And that was before like social media, before you do these announcements, and there's no way
Yes,
you would have known.
right.
But then fast forward, like having three kids and all of that over the years, there's always been a curiosity. And then I'd say about 10 years ago, it just became to this full blown hunger of like knowing there's more, but what is it? And what am I feeling? It, I had this spiritual awakening, and it just completely changed my life, and all for the better. But it's just like there's more, right? So it's like
Yeah.
as you continue to go through the spiritual journey, it's um just realizing, and how can I connect with my spirit team, and have this, and my higher power is still God. So how do I have my religion and what I believe in that, but also with
Mhm.
spirituality, when so many people think they're so different, and realizing that they can coexist. And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I find that too.
yeah,
And that breaks some people's brains. Like, wait, what? You can be a medium and go to church? I'm like, heck yeah, you can.
yeah. I have a tattoo artist, and she's like, "Wait, you believe in God, but you're spiritual?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, that's weird."
You're like, is it?
Like, I don't think
Or
so.
is it just weird for you?
Yeah, yeah. So she meant it in the most loving way, but
Yes, of course. Of
you
course.
kind of get in your head like, oh, am I supposed to be one or the other? And for me, it's not. Like, God is my higher power, but I do believe there's a spirit team, and that we get these connections. And for me, just to be able to learn how to tune into what is being shared with me, and that wisdom, it's been very profound, especially the last few years doing work with you and the meditations. Uh, yeah, and just seeing different signs and not second guessing yourself that it's a sign.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I think that's I've been talking a little bit about spirituality, personality types, because I come from the business world and I'm like, which personality type are you? And I think that kind of happens where we go from like maybe you probably have never been a skeptic, but you go from that to like I know it, but I doubt it, and then you go from like, okay, I'm gonna trust the adventure, and then you go to like, no, I am my own clear channel.
Yeah.
And I have seen that even with you, even in the few years that we've been working together, how much more you're moving into like just trusting your sovereign channel, and being like, okay, I think this is a message that I'm supposed to trust what I'm getting. And I wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about when it feels clear, and then when you doubt it or you're unsure, like how do you work through that? Because I think that's probably the biggest reason why people come into my community or come into my world, is because they're like, sometimes I got it and sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see if you could talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, and I think I'm still like working through that. But in the beginning, it would be like, no, that's not really a sign. That's a coincidence, right? I mean,
Yeah,
and I love my husband dearly, but he's a skeptic. So he's like, that's
totally.
coincidental, right? And so then I'll go in my head like, is it? But if it jives with my gut too, and you've talked about this too, it's like I'll get this conviction, it just within
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
And I think that I get a lot of messages through dreams. And then I also have like, I have terrible smell in general, just with sinus issues. But I'll get this really big whiff of smoke, for example, from someone who's crossed over that used to be a heavy smoker. And she's giving me this message. And I know from my spirit team, that's my grandmother. And
Oh, yeah.
so there'll be little things like that where it's just like there's just no doubt in my mind, and people can say what they want to say about what they think, but I
Yes.
don't question that for sure is a message. What I'm trying to still tune into is, and you've talked about this on your podcast, but asking like, okay, for work, for example, right? Like, should I stay at this place, or is it time for me to go? Or having like some kind of very specific direction.
Yeah.
I'm still working through what those are, and I find that if I just stop overthinking it, they're providing the signs, and I'm just too much in my head. So the more I can
Yeah.
get out of my head and spend some time just, um, thinking or feeling, that helps a lot more than second guessing myself.
Yeah, it's so true. And you know what's funny is, especially when we ask for timeline answers, sometimes the answer is like either one. You can stay or you can go. You'll find your divine path either way. So you're not getting a clear sign. You're like, is it red or is it green? Which one is it?
Yeah,
Is it a bird or is it a rainbow? Which sign? I need to know. If you called in a specific sign for a specific reason. And sometimes they give us those like non-answers are an answer. You're like, you know what? I have to just center myself and listen. And more often than not, it's like either way, you choose your own adventure. You're going to get where you need to go. You choose the one that looks the most joyful and the most fun.
yeah,
And I find that people question that a lot when they ask for a timeline question and they're not getting it. And they're like, does it mean I don't go? Does it mean and just really trying to make sense of all of that. So sometimes when that happens, I recommend to people, it's like, instead of asking that, just say, can you just show me what is my highest timeline available? Whatever signs, show me you're around me and help me see what feels the most aligned for me. And I'm just going to trust and surrender to that.
I like
And sometimes that gives you a little bit more calmness in your nervous system while you're trying to figure out what to do, especially with big decisions like career or moving or, like things like that where you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I am in the middle of one of those big ones. And since I haven't felt this like very distinct direction, I feel like it's just like, just wait. And I'm such a go get 'em kind of person. And I feel like I'm being taught a lesson right now to just be like, be
Yes.
still, be present. Like it'll come in time, and it's not your time. It's the right time,
Divine time.
Yeah, divine
Yes.
time is exactly it. So I'm like,
That happened
okay.
for me. I know when I really wanted to start my own company and the CEO had stepped back into the company and I was really out of alignment with him and I was like, I can't work for this guy. I cannot work for this guy. I'm dying inside. Like, ooh. And my guides kept giving me a yellow light. I'm like, for 6 months. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Like, come on. I joined a business entrepreneurs program while I was still working in corporate America. I was like, I'm ready. Come on, let me go. And they were just like, no, 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 no. And it ended up making sense why. I was going to quit and I got a severance check and they downsized the company. And I was like, oh, I get it. You just wanted to give me some,
Yeah.
I wanted you to give me some, I wanted some money. Thanks. I appreciate it. But at the time, it didn't make sense, but I still trusted it, but our human mind wants to make sense of things, especially,
Yeah.
yeah, especially you, like you're very, you're strategic, you're smart, you're goal oriented. And that kind of person especially loves to know the plan.
It is nice to know the plan. So I'm
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel like because of my development within my spiritual journey. Rather than looking at why not now, it's more of like, okay, what am I meant to be learning in all of this? And kind of
Yeah.
reframing it to be like, what are you teaching me? What am I meant to learn? And
Yeah.
I think that just helps me grow, like control the controllables. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of centering me about and preparing me for what's next.
Yeah. And you know what? You can use that same question, but emphasize a different word, right? You're like, why not now, as in now? And you're like, why not now? Like, what is the reason for not now? There is a reason.
Yeah.
And bring it into my awareness. Help me see what that is meant to be.
Oh, like
And And it always, I find for me, I always understand it with context. Like once you can fast forward the timeline and get to the part where it makes sense, then you look back and go, "Oh my God, thank God it did not work out like I wanted it to. And
Right.
thank God it worked out like it was divinely supposed to."
Exactly. And I've had so many of those instances in my career and others where it's just very clear what the next step is and all of the doors open, right? And so I think sometimes people are looking for a very specific sign, but since we're talking about jobs, like if there's this opportunity in the past that the doors kept closing or made it harder and harder to get to the next phase, and I was like, I don't think. And there's this other one, so there was two opportunities. One where the doors kept closing, and I would kept trying to open it and find different doors, right, to get around it, and other path like it kept opening more and more, and it was just like I think there's a very clear direction on where my team and where they're directing me to go. And I need to
Yeah.
stop pushing this one and focus all of my energy in on this one. And it was such an amazing experience.
And it's so hard to do though. I mean, genuinely, because we really have to release our ego and our control and like listen to the whisper because the control voice is so much louder than the whisper voice.
Oh,
And it is like full of fear and full of doubt and full of control and full of I can do it, I can figure it out, you know. And then the whisper is like, you may want to go over here, little one.
that's why it's so important to like find time to meditate every day, or even if it's not the traditional meditation, something that calms your mind so that you can hear.
Yeah,
Like, just
totally.
silence everything out. That's why I love listening to your podcast before bed. Not your podcast, one of your meditations from a member. And it's about connecting with your team. And I just listen to that every night before bed and just kind of relax. And especially since I get a lot of messages through dreams, I feel like that's
Mhm.
just kind of opening my channels. And there have been some really interesting things that have come through just recently on resentments that I'm now ready to let go of, and it came
Oh.
through on a dream, and I scared my husband. I woke up screaming, and he was I'm and it was really scary, the dream, but when I woke up, it was obvious I was safe, and I scared my husband because I was screaming, but it felt like I finally am able to release that throat shot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I felt like I couldn't say anything for years, finally said something, and I just have felt this huge lift
Yes.
since that dream.
You know, I had one of those dreams. Like, I honestly still don't know exactly what was happening, but I woke up. It was, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I woke up in the middle of the night. This is probably about a week ago. And I felt like I had one foot in my earthly body and one foot in the divine world, like some astro traveling somewhere. Like I woke up out of a shock, like I hadn't quite fully embodied into my back into my human body. So I was like, my soul was like, you know, like teetering
Mhm.
between
Between
worlds a
worlds.
little bit. And I felt like I was battling the darkness, and I felt like lightsaber of light with angels, and we were like whoosh, 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 you know, like all this stuff. But I woke up in a full on sweat and panic, like and I was like, I felt like, whoa, what's happening? And I didn't feel unsafe, but I felt uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Like this feels uncomfortable. I don't know. And I literally was like, Archangel Michael, guardian angels, all of you, be around me. And then within like 2 seconds, I was like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's okay. You know? And so I think it's so interesting, you know, when we look at our dreams and you look at your dream, right? And you're like, okay, it was heavy and it might have been scary to some people, but the outcome was that I faced something that was hard for me to face in my 3D world and my soul released it in dream state.
Yes, and it was just I mean, it was so profound. It's hard to explain unless you experience something like that, but
Yeah.
while it was scary in the dream because confrontation and it was just
Yeah.
some things that needed to come up, when I was, journaling about it, it just felt like, "Oh, you know, like I wasn't scared anymore. It wasn't about, and I don't necessarily need to confront these people in the
Right.
real
And you're
world.
here.
It was
Right.
energy that was stuck in my body that I feel is released now, that I don't have to give that energy to it anymore.
That's so powerful too,
Oh, it
like,
was
so freeing.
yeah, it was so
Yeah.
great. I feel so much
Yeah.
better since that dream. It's probably like 2 weeks ago. And these
Nice.
resentments, I thought I was over, but then
I know.
what I know,
And then they're still there.
I know, in my spiritual journey, it's like, oh, a layer of that was gone. Now
Yeah.
that you're ready and able to go deeper, it'll bring out other things that you still need to work through.
One of my dear, dear friends who is on this spiritual journey, as you and I are, she always tells me, like, around judgment or resentment or holding anger towards somebody or a situation or sadness or whatever it might be, just holding some low vibrational energy around a situation or person. She always says to me, she's like, Kara, if you saw the world the way they saw the world, you would think the way that they think and you would do what they do. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. If I, cause you think like just this situation you're in, right? The other person or people involved, would you ever want to be like them?
No.
No.
And that's not even
Right?
judgment, but now
No,
more
but you're just
about,
saying I don't identify with the way they see the world,
yeah, exactly. And
right?
that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's like I'm trying to be at a higher vibrational energy and I'm not
Right.
better than
So
anybody
you
else. I'm just trying to be,
up here
yeah,
in the magic land,
yeah,
in the high vibrational fairy world of angels, are trying to go into the muck and mire of a low vibrational space and see it the way they and try to be like, why? I don't understand. Like, why don't you see it here? And again, it's not like higher or lower. It's just a total vibrational mismatch. And when I started to really understand that, I still hold resentments and judgments too, like we all do. But I started to release some of that, like people that were judging me or critiquing me or that are responding in a way that I felt was super unkind and not the way that I want us to show up for each other. I just was like, okay, if you saw the world the way they saw the world, you would act and think and believe and do the things that they do.
yeah,
But you don't.
yeah,
So you don't get to act or think or believe or do those things because you don't see the world that way. So hold yourself to your own standard.
yeah. And I believe it was you, Kara, one of our first sessions where we're on different spiritual journeys and wherever they're at versus wherever you're at. And it's not about being on a high horse,
Yeah.
and I really love that because I have to ask myself, like, are you being on your high horse or is this
Yeah.
coming from a place of love? And so it's just checking myself, right? Like when
Yeah.
I'm frustrated or have expectations around something or, just even like with my husband not believing in all of this
Yeah.
and
Same,
me
same.
being like the opposite of like, let me dive into a pool and,
Yeah.
absorb as much information as I can. But you helped us have a conversation because it was you and I were meeting.
Yeah.
And I was after that spiritual high horse comment. And it wasn't a judgmental one. It was just like, you're here, Tiffany, he's here. Not, it's not right or wrong. Like, so if you can both at least come into the same space of saying, I know you don't fully align with where I'm, like all of these signs that I'm getting
Yeah.
from the other side and growing in my spirituality, and he's okay just being where he's at. I'm like, can you at least leave room for me to have conversations with you about what I'm
Yeah.
experiencing in a non-judgmental factor so that this doesn't divide us, but actually invites conversation of like, here's where I'm at, where are you at, and what do you think about this and that? And it's been such a profound change for us in our conversations when I'm trying to have a deeper conversation around spirituality. And he's
Yeah.
okay with
Same.
yeah, and he's like,
I
"Oh,
mean, so
tell me more
same
about that."
with my husband,
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, I need you to at least just hold space for me the same way you did before my spiritual awakening.
mhm,
You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you, but we do have to hold space for each other's, for us to become who we're meant to be.
yeah, completely
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
all good. So I'm glad we had that frank conversation so that I could look at it differently.
Oh, good. I'm glad it made a
Yeah,
difference. Like
thank
it
you.
did for me too. Like I was like for 6 months, like, okay, you got to bring this up, Kara. What you got to bring this up? You got to have this hard conversation. You got to have this deep conversation with your husband. It's probably going to go freaking terrible. Oh my God, how's this going to go? And then it's like it takes forever for you to like get enough courage to heal your witch wound and speak your truth. And then once you do, you're like, okay, I got it all out. Can we now break it down a little bit and like have a more gentle way? Cause I just had to blah and get it all out.
Well, and what's funny is because we've also talked to a therapist and she didn't want to touch the spirituality part yet, right? So she's like, let's talk about some of these other things first. And then because spirituality and religion and things like that in a relationship can be harder. And so I was like, well, okay, we won't. So we addressed other things. But
Yeah.
then as soon as you and I talked
Where you're like,
about it,
this is the actual issue, though.
yeah,
This one. This is the root one.
this is the root one. So I want to be me, right? And I don't
Yes,
want to hide this
exactly.
part of my life that I find like I have such a thirst for it that chakras and
Yes.
healing, and just your podcast has, just the different sessions. You're like, wow, I didn't even know that existed. Right. And so I'm not saying that those are all paths I'm going to go down and explore, but I just find it very interesting
Yes.
and share with my children and friends. And I don't even care if people think I'm kooky. Like,
That's what I say. Go ahead and think I'm cuckoo
yeah,
for Cocoa Puffs. I'm fine with that. I'll find my peeps,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But
Hopefully,
I also think like
oh,
you and I are similar in the sense that we didn't awaken into our spirituality at birth, right? We lived a pretty normal life for a while. And then these little things started shifting our perspective and changing the way that we saw ourselves, saw our world, and the unseen. And so I believe this truly. My guides have channeled this to me as well, that we each pick our spiritual awakening plot on our timeline. We all go, okay, I'm going to experience this and this and this, and I'm going to have this hardship and this challenge. Then I'm going to go through this. And then I'm going to probably do some shit I shouldn't do. And then I'm going to have to heal from that. And then I'm going to do this and that. And then I'm going to awaken, and then I'm going to reflect on all of those things. And then I'm going to shift into other perspectives. So some of us pick that at birth. Some of us pick it at 5. Some of us pick it at 40. Some of us pick it at 92 on our deathbed. And some of us don't pick it ever at all.
that was
And
interesting for me to learn. Like,
and so when I think about that, I'm like, okay, well, if I didn't awaken until this part of my life, like halfway through my timeline, then why am I judging someone else who, what are they supposed to awaken on the exact same day as me? Are they supposed to have their journey on the same day as me? Or am I an evolving soul and they are too?
yeah,
So how do I hold space for somebody to evolve in a different way than me? Because no two people are the same.
exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that,
For me, it's just, I think, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really proud of you for that. For just trusting the signs, continuing on a journey, even if it doesn't make sense. I know for you in particular, just having the power and courage to have conversations, to speak up and hold space for yourself and have that courageous conversation, whether it's personally or professionally. That's what we're all called to do, to speak our most heart-centered truth out into the world, to be our most authentic vibrational self, and then let the chips fall where they fall after that,
Yeah. And I'm so glad you're along on the journey to help with that,
Same.
because that's been really the last probably year and a half of really speaking my truth. I mean, I also go to someone to help with the chakras and releasing those energies that don't serve me and my highest self. And it tends to be my sacral that's blocked and my throat chakra. And so,
you know
and maybe,
My friend Julie says that. She's like, the two most powerful chakras for women are your sacral and your throat chakra. It's like, I need to rack up my confidence and then I need to speak it out into the world.
I feel
Yeah.
like this has been a very transformational time for me to really focus on that and have the courage to do that. I mean, even if it was, 2 years prior, I don't think I would have been ready. And so that's why it's so
Yeah.
important to trust the timing, the divine timing of when you are ready and able to get to the next level, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about this, about being a parent and being on a spiritual journey, because my kiddo is 11. And sometimes she's like all about it and super open. And other times she's like, oh my God, mom, do we have to talk about meditation again? So, but my daughter's younger than yours. So how has that been as you've evolved and opened up? How has that dialogue been with your kids?
I think overall it's been well. We, throughout the years, have been very open with one another. My oldest is, I mean, I think they're all very open to hearing. I don't know that any of them are on the path to want to be on the same journey. And so we just, same conversation with my husband. It's like, it's okay if you're not. I'm not here to judge that. And I'm not here to tell you one thing or
Hmm.
the other, but at least leave space for me to be able to have these
Yes.
conversations with you and get your perspective. And I would say my middle one, she went to a Reiki specialist, and she was like, wow, that was really interesting. The individual thinks that my middle daughter has some gifts. And so she's like,
Oh,
I'm not interested or ready to tap into any of that. She's like, I had
yes.
one session, it was cool, but I'm not going to do it again. And my oldest is by far, she's 23, and she's like, yeah, I don't know what is out there. There's probably something out there, but I'm not in a place right now where I think she's more about religion is a cult and, those types of things. So when I'm
Sure.
teaching her like spirituality doesn't have to be perceived that way. It could be Mother Nature, it could be, whatever, but knowing that there's something higher than you. And so I try not to push my beliefs on her. She tries not to poo poo me. So I think it's just being able to have those conversations, but I think they do probably think mama's woo woo, cuckoo sometimes, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? But
Yeah.
they don't judge. They just give me the space that I need to explore what I want. And I'm big into human design. So, like, I'm a projector. So, when you were describing before the different times that people have awakening, different spiritual awakenings,
Yeah.
it's 3 phases typically for a projector, and I think I'm in my 3rd phase of, like, I did a lot of
Mm.
shit, and I went through a lot of crap, and now I'm able to look at all of that wisdom not in shame or guilt or
Exactly.
whatever it might be, and it's like, "Okay, I went through all of those things for a reason," right? And if you believe in the I contracted before I even came here to go through all of these.
Right.
So what was I meant to learn and all of those things to now be in the position I am to help guide and support others in their journey. So
Yes.
I don't know. I'm still exploring very surface level human design, but I find it really fascinating, and it's based on partially astrology with some other aspects of it. And so I'm a projector, and it's about bringing the wisdom to others, but you need to be invited in to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I have actually, like, side note, have been loading my astrology charts and Vedic astrology charts and my human design and all sorts of stuff into Chat GPT. And
Oh,
it's like
have you?
spitting out,
No,
yeah, it gives you
oh,
advice.
so
It's like, oh, okay, cool. That's helpful.
yeah.
Thank you. Because I find human design to be complex to learn how it all fits together. And so I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I can just like do all this. I don't, I just load the chart and then I ask it questions and it
Oh, I
tells me
love it.
stuff.
I know, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm very basic. Like I know what each of my children are. 2 of them are projectors. One's a Manny Jenny, and then my husband's a generator. So it's very interesting if you
Yeah.
learn enough and follow a coach or whoever, or even put in Chat GPT, the dynamics of them.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so funny because I'm like, of course, the one child that's probably the hardest for me to um, that gives me, I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but challenges me the most in
Yeah.
parenting. She's the complete opposite of me. So it's just like,
That's
okay,
how
so
that
how
goes.
do I adjust to what works well for you?
Yeah. I'm a manifesting generator as well. So,
Oh, so
yeah. Yeah.
that's
But we get along great.
yeah. It's just I think she's just yeah. Well, and she's 17, so
Yeah.
there's that.
So you got to go it your own way. You got to figure it out and you believe you have the right ideas, but you're also very creative and you want to find your own way. So you probably just need to give her a little space to find her own way.
That's actually what my spirit guides put on my heart about 2 weeks ago, that I need to just back off and let her, not like completely, I mean, she's 17,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe you're riding her too hard. It's like, okay, maybe I need to back off and let her just kind of do her thing, and
Yeah.
that's what she's
Bethany
always.
Frankel had this video that she posted on her Instagram about parenting. And she's like, it's freaking the hardest job ever. You can't be their friend, but you also can't, you can't be too hard on them or they won't talk to you.
Yeah,
And then you can't, you know what I mean? It's like this delicate dance of like, you're really strict, then they just rebel. But you have no rules, then they don't give a shit and they don't turn out great. And they just go down a spiral of shit show shenanigans. And it's like, oh my Lord, kids, they chose us as their parents and we chose them as our children and to have this parent child relationship in this lifetime. So I always trust it's for a reason. They're meant to teach me something and I'm meant to teach them something and we're meant to grow together.
absolutely.
Because
And
you never know. She could have been your mom in a previous life and she's just getting you back.
maybe that would make sense. She's actually an amazing kid. I think it's the
Yeah.
communication styles, right? Like and she's a very independent person, wants to.
Right. Or that stubbornness where you're like, ugh.
She'd be a great entrepreneur here.
Yeah. I say that to my daughter all the time. I'm like, girl, you love to be the boss and you do not like to be bossed around. So you might need to be a salesperson or an entrepreneur, or she said maybe a teacher, like something where you could kind of be in charge would probably be a good choice for you.
Yeah. See, and isn't that good to know that
Yeah.
kind of information and help guide your children at a young age to
Yeah.
foster that
Like,
strength?
yeah, exactly. So you're like, you might need to find a lane where you get to You get to call the shots, kid.
Yeah, totally. You know what? My oldest is like that. She's very independent, very organized. Like she's a type A, and you know, so it's very interesting to see the three girls and how very different they are.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, are you ready to shift gears
I'm ready.
and do this reading? Okay, just disclaimer, we did do a little meditation ahead of time just to help ground us and connect us. So I've been feeling little tingles all over my body the whole time we've been talking, where your peeps are like, is it time? Is it time yet? Is it time? We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. So I'm just going to ground with a couple of deep breaths, and we're going to open up this channel, and I'm just going to see what comes through for you. So, and maybe it'll be something about what we talked about, or who knows what, but I do feel it's going to be like messages, like divine messages from your guides. Not that a loved one won't come through, but I just am feeling like a huge, like, aura of angelic energy all around you, like you've been calling it in. So let me just see what's here. Okay. Yeah, the way they're showing it to me is like a rainbow all around you. And they're showing me a listening ear, like we hear you, we hear you, we hear you. You think we don't hear us, but we hear you. We're listening, we hear you. And the way they're showing it to me is there is going to be like a big timeline shift for you. Like something significant is coming. I'm getting like 6 months. And be ready to like jump over kind of show, like they're showing it to me like jump over a wall. Be ready to jump over a wall into something big or something more significant, or a shifting sands for you. I do sense this is probably going to be like a potential job change or realignment of job for you. They're also showing me an airplane, so it may be on a trip or some travel related where something shifts in for you. Do you have a trip coming up this year?
I don't. My daughter is getting married, but from a work perspective, we don't travel anymore because of
No, this
COVID.
might be more personal. You're not hopping on a plane. They're showing me airplane. So I'm airplane. So I'm just gonna trust that.
Okay.
By they're showing me by the end of the year. So if something comes up where you take a little trip, a little weekend getaway, or whatever, east, west. Okay, hold on. It's going to be west, like going west. It may not be all the way to the coast, but they're giving me like west as the direction. So if something comes up where you have an opportunity to do that, I would say seize the day, take it. You're going to be like, I might as well. Nothing else is happening anyway. We might as well.
Well, I'm all about seizing the day, so tell them I'm in.
Okay. So I just sense like trip, like there's something there that, and it's like the way I see it is like it will like it's like a timeline shifting. It's almost like hopping on an airplane or traveling through the air. You're like, okay, just gonna whatever is meant to be will be. It will come in. You have been shedding. They're showing me like a snake shedding. So you really have been releasing and letting go. And as you do that with your career, you will realize that like you can do any job on the planet, and that it's not connected to your purpose. Like your purpose is your being, is your essence of who you are, what brings you joy and what lights you up. And the rest is just ways that the universe brings resources to you. So don't worry so much about what it is that you do in terms of title. Just let the resources flow and find ways to shift into things that you enjoy. So this might even be a different opportunity within where you're at, but something that feels a little bit more in alignment for you. What I'm getting on is what they're showing me, Tiffany, if this makes sense to you. They're showing me like stepping on you, like people you feel like people are stepping on you on their way up. Like that's what they're showing me. Like you're the steps, like they're stepping on you to get where they need to go. And that feels really icky in your nervous system. Does that make sense to you?
It's exactly what's going on. And one of the things I struggle with currently here.
Okay. So they're showing me that is what needs to shift, where you're like, I want to be in a role with a leader in a space where I feel honored for who I am and the value I provide, and not like a stepping stone for someone else.
Oh.
What I'm getting is it might seem scary, but communicate that to a trusted leader is what they're telling me. Trusted leader. So it may not be your actual boss.
Yeah, my actual boss was just let go.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've
They're giving me an X. I don't know if you can see that, like an X over your boss. So I'm like
Mm,
here, they're like, it may not be your boss that's your trusted leader.
okay.
So I would find somebody that has influence and significance there and share that. Because there is power in holding space for yourself. Don't worry about what if I don't land on my feet? What if I lose my job? What if they don't think, what if they, what if, blah, 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 blah. They're just telling me like, oh, you let go of all of that. Just let go of all of that. Stand in your power, stand in your truth, hold space for yourself and, and know how positive you are, how much value you add. They're giving me symbols for that. And that you know that in your heart. Truly, truly, you know that. And either they'll honor that or they won't.
Okay. And that is something that you touched on. It's just like, as I continue to grow spiritually, I feel like I just get so tired right now, in the work setting. And I think this is exactly why. It's just like, what am I doing here? What's the purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. So what they're telling me is you got to throw out that way of thinking and you have to be like, what brings me joy today? What lights me up? Like, oh, who do I love talking to at work? Who do I enjoy working on projects with? How do I like plow through this? Like, what's the most fun way I can get this little project done? And like, really, it's about a mindset shift because you're kind of the way they're showing it to me is like you're going in hunting and looking for the things that you don't like. It's like, oh
So
man,
attracting that then.
a little bit, or you're just identifying it like, oh, I see that. See, that's what I mean. See, like
Mm,
this, that, and like just shift it to like really draw to you what you do want more of and what you do want to see in your job and in your relationships and professionally, and then just let that shift you a little bit. And that what they're showing me is it'll course correct. And what I actually see is like two doors opening at the same time. So you're going to be like, oh, okay, I can stay here, but I can do this. That would be way more fun. I'd like that a lot better.
mm.
Um, or I can do this new opportunity that's coming into my awareness, and no wrong path, no wrong choice. You pick the one that seems the most exciting to you.
Oh,
Like pick with your joy center is what they're telling me, whatever that means.
well, that's
Yeah, joy.
exciting.
Pick with your joy center.
Okay.
I keep saying it.
With my
So pick the thing that lights you up.
okay.
You're like, that's fun. I want to learn that.
Actually fun.
I want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, and the way that I see it is like they kind of are showing me that you're like the fixer.
Mhm.
So you're really good at like, that doesn't make sense. Let's try this. This is a better way. We could do this. We could do that. Like you're really like the way they're showing it to me is like a power number two, like an operational guru. Like you're the kind of one that's like, there's a better way to do this. So you may not be the one that wants to like go way out into the unknown, but you're like, whoa, we're in the unknown. I think we need a flashlight. I think we need a better way. That you kind of have this knack for like making it, finding a better way to do what other people forcefully do. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, especially for being in sales, people are like, wow, you're a lot more operational than most salespeople.
Yeah. Or they're just showing me you're more heart centered.
Definitely heart centered.
You're more heart centered and you're more like, let's do what makes sense for the long run. So, like, the way they're showing it to me is your clients are way better set up for success because you want it to be a great experience for them from beginning to end
Mm.
versus like other peeps that may just go, hunt the big game and then if it falls apart, that's not their responsibility. That's not, you feel a significant amount of responsibility. It's part of your like moral value code to ensure that you're, putting your best foot forward, I guess is the way they're showing it to me. You wouldn't feel good about it if you did it a different way.
No, absolutely. Like I'm not just one who sell and move on. It's, all of it, right? The entire experience.
Yeah. The way they're showing it to me is like an account executive type of role will feel more aligned because of the long-term relationships. Sell it and serve it at a high level. You sell it and you lead it strategically. You sell it and you lead it strategically. And that might be a better fit for you. That may not exist the way the division that you're in or the way that your company works today. Um, but there are areas where that is the truth, just not maybe in the division you're in. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So that would be like something to explore, like staying within the same bounds and exploring other opportunities that feel that way, where you can use your strength of heart and relationship and drive and passion and purpose in an aligned way.
Okay.
Okay. I'm also, just for what it's worth, getting a dad figure in spirit.
I don't know who that would be.
Okay, it's dad figure. So it'll be like somebody who's like a dad. Dad,
Like
it's dad. It's definitely dad's side, and I'm getting dad like a dad.
Oh, so my grandfather then.
I can ask, but no. Okay, your grandpa's your dad's dad.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. This is somebody that's like, it's like a dad. A dad adjacent is what they're showing me. So it'd be somebody that you really looked up to, respected. It could be an uncle. It could be like a friend's dad. It could be. Okay, I'm just gonna let it sit. They're showing me a fishing boat.
Oh, it could be my sister-in-law. Her father-in-law just passed away, and I grew up with them. And
So you have a fishing boat?
he does, yeah, and he loved the great outdoors. His name is Bob.
Okay. Does he have a trolling motor?
I'd have to ask. I don't know.
Okay, check and see. I'm seeing like a fishing boat instead of like a speedboat.
Yeah, they definitely had a fishing boat. They had a one of those.
It's like a platform in the front.
Yep. Yeah, they go
Okay.
lake home.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, Bob. What do you want to say? I'm glad we kind of figured out who that was. Your grandpa's like helping him. So what I see is like young, like he died. Like there was more time on the clock that he wished would have been. Does that make sense to you? Like he wasn't like he wished he could have lived more years.
Oh, yeah.
Like died younger than he wished. Like left behind his grandkids. Like just really like.
It's been very hard on the family.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. They're showing me like loads and loads of tears, sadness, like how hard this has been. Um, the way I see it, like you mentioned it, he loves nature. What he's showing me is like he finds God in nature. He's showing me like a deer, a moose, a bear outside, like sunrise, sunset over his lake. Like that's where he found God. That's where he found his divine connection. Like he may have reluctantly gone to church, but that's not where he felt a kind of connection to the unseen.
It's funny because his family believes that the eagle that continues to like is blue has been circling around, and one shortly after his funeral, an eagle like swooped down right in front of their car.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're like, that's got to be Grandpa.
Yeah. Definitely. So he doesn't want to take up more of the time of your reading, but he's just like, thank you for seeing the world the way you see the world. And like he's showing me like the great outdoors, like not just like Minnesota lake vibes, but it's like Montana, Yellowstone, Wyoming, Glacier. Like he's showing me like national parks and beauty, and like that like he's just flashing me so many images of what it looks like, what heaven looks like to him.
Oh,
And
the
it's
book once.
beautiful.
Heaven is where you find your most peace.
Yeah, and there's a real tall pine tree, and there is a bald eagle and a bald eagle's nest in the top of the pine tree.
Yep.
So it's not surprising that you said that he comes in eagles. He's showing it to me like it's really tall, like towering above all the rest.
Does he have anything he wants me to pass to my sister or my brother-in-law?
Yeah. Okay, he's showing me like scraps of paper. Let me just see what he means. Did they find something like scraps of paper, like paper folded up, like some type of like note, something? Check and see. There's like something on like a little piece of paper or like a folded up piece of paper. So I don't know if he kept a note or like kept something like a note from dad, like something like that, like something that was given to him that he kept precious.
Okay.
Check and see what they say with that. But he's just saying like, I keep it close to my heart still. So if there was like the way they're showing it to me is like things in his wallet, like photos from when his kids were little. Like he kind of like keeps it close still. Like,
I love that.
um, there, so he's like, I don't like, I can't quite get the placement of this. Like it may be in a drawer now, um, or a special box or something, but there's like a folded up note and there's like really worn photos. They'd been in this place for a long time, or drawer or a wallet, or maybe both. And he's just saying, you all still live in a special place in my heart still. So I'm looking out for you and I'm around you. He really does not like how sad they are. Like truly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. They're
Hard.
struggling.
Super hard. Did he have issues with his heart?
He did.
Okay, so he's showing me like my heart beats perfectly now. Like it's not clogged, it's not cluttered, it's perfect, and my heart is very full of love for all of you. But
That's-
I have a perfect heart now.
Yeah. He was one
He's
of
showing
those few.
it might have been physical, but also he might have been I don't want to say rough around the edges, but like tougher. Might have been a little tougher exterior, and so he's saying like he may not have been the one to be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. But he's showing me like my heart is so full of love, and I wish I would have said I love you more. Is kind of the feeling I get. Like I felt it, people knew it. Like I'm a teddy bear that way, but I maybe didn't always express it. I might have had a little bit of a tougher, rougher heart, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what my sister would describe, or what I've seen, right? You kind of have a tough exterior, but he was just a big teddy bear, just an amazing
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, that's what he's showing me too. He's also showing me like like okay, I thought it was Cabela's, but I think it might be Shields, like the like the Shields that have the Ferris wheels, and then when you're at the top you get to see like all the hunting gear and all the stuff. Yeah, he's like, yeah, put me on the ride.
That's
But
great.
he's like wearing like camo gear.
Yes. I mean, he was all about like the outdoors and all of those types of activities. And yeah,
But he's funny. He's showing me like in camo gear riding the Ferris wheel at Shields.
that's his heaven.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Your grandpa, I just wants to connect with you too. He's is are you still experiencing a little bit of discomfort in your brain,
I am.
Tiffaney? Okay. He's like showing me I'm around you, I'm here for you, I'm here for you. And it the way I see it is like that you may still need to do some things to heal to heal your brain.
Okay.
And just keep an open heart. But make sure you're communicating with your doctors. Make sure you're expressing to them like, I'm still having headaches. I'm still having pain. I'm still feeling some discomfort. Not as much as it was. Is that accurate?
Yeah. No, it's not as bad as it was, but it's still. And so I'm just like sending it healing vibes and not
Yeah,
even.
the way they're showing it to me is like it feels like you may not it may not bulge out, but it feels like it. Like there's a bulge of pain.
And right where you're pointing, that's exactly where the issue is. And then sometimes it'll shoot down my ear.
Yeah. Does it affect your jaw?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, let me see. What do they want to say? Okay, I'm not a medical doctor, but I will just tell you what they're telling me. There is still some neurological connection, something with your nerves that's connecting your face and your jaw to the side of your brain. And so it's like when you have pain, it's like it affects the nerves down the side of your face a little bit where does it even feel like a little saggy?
It does. And
Is
that
the way they're
like
showing it to
one
me?
day this whole jaw will just hurt. And it's nothing like before the surgery. And just for
Yeah.
people listening, before I told anyone, Kara, it was during one of our things, and my grandmother had come through and was talking about my brain issue, and it's called trigeminal neuralgia, and my mother has it as well. And it's not considered hereditary, but the three of us all have it, and um, I- one of my daughters will likely have it, right? I think is what was one of the visions that came through. And just for any skeptics out there, before I told anyone, minus my husband and the surgeon, um, the what was going on, you were like, okay, it sounds like you're going to be having surgery, and you were pointing exactly to where the brain was and showing me on a video like this during a reading. And I was like, how in God's green earth does she know unless she's getting divine intervention on what's
Yeah.
happening? So fast forward, I had surgery. Things have been going overall very well. And so what you're talking about is just, I don't know if it's still in the healing process or if the surgery wasn't 100% effective. So
Yeah.
kind of working
I'm
through some of those things.
what I'm getting is like you're 90% there. So just be open to what they think is the best path forward. And not that you can't do Eastern medicine, acupuncture and Reiki and energy healing and things like that. They're also giving me Louise Hay. Have you experienced her books around healing?
No,
When it's
Louise.
an association, yeah, Louise Hay, when you have pain in certain parts of your body, it's the spiritual lesson associated with it. And they're like showing me that will give you 5% closer. So it's going to be a yes and like listen to the medical advice and also attack it spiritually. So it's like, okay, what healed, what trauma do I have? What do I need to heal within me? What karmic lessons do I need to heal? Afterwards, I'll grab my books and we'll look it up, Tiffany, and we'll see what comes through in terms of what that means if you have nerve or brain. It's like hemorrhage, but it's not a hemorrhage. I don't know how to explain it. They're just showing me it's like it controls all our pain centers and nerve centers, and so it's just misfiring sometimes is the way they're showing it to me. Like some things are misfiring.
Yeah, because it's not all the time.
Yeah.
But when it does hit, it's hard to do other things. So I just try to. I think you had a podcast on it recently about the gentleman that was a
Oh,
cyclist and sending positive healing vibes to different parts that are hurting versus um, you know, different.
yeah, Alec Kesson.
Yes.
Yeah, he works with professional athletes and all sorts of things to understand pain. But I do think there is a physical symptom. It's not like not to be ignored, I guess is what I'm saying. So it is a little bit of medical course correcting and energetic and spiritual learning and unlearning. I guess they're telling me both learning and unlearning. So there is some healing and then some awareness that can happen. And then also, hey, is it possible we missed something? Is it this? Is it that? The reason why I'm saying that you may need to look at another medical thing is because they're showing me you shaving your hair again. So they may need to do a scope or something less severe, but they may need to go in. So you may just end up being like, this is just my new hairstyle. I love it. Rock it.
I
Do
mean,
it.
might as well just rock it, right?
Yeah. Plus it looks freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Like you're such a babe. I love it. So they're just showing me that might happen again where you may need to like shave that side of your head for them to access in to see things
Okay.
or scope in and see if they can see if there's like the way I'm seeing it is like fusing that like fusing some short circuits, like maybe there's like some fusing that didn't quite fuse. Does that make sense to
Yeah,
you?
it does.
Okay. I am always like, I am the least medical person to be channeling medical advice. So I really just say what they say.
Well, I'm glad.
I don't know what it means.
I haven't said anything to the doctor yet because I'm like, well, it's nothing like what it was. So should I or shouldn't I? And
Yes. Speak up.
yeah,
Speak
sometimes
up.
it's just things like this that give me that extra, like, yes, you absolutely should.
Yeah. You're not making it up. And then again, approach it from east and west, from medical and spiritual, like
Okay.
approach it all the ways. There's no wrong way to heal in this in terms of like, should I only do this or only do that? What I'm hearing is like, yes, and.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything you want to ask? Anything where you came in wondering? I just want to leave. Are you wondering about your kids, like the marriage, the wedding?
Yes. I mean, all three of them are going through some very big life changes, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to just be there in the most supportive, loving way, knowing that they're on their own journey. But yeah, and I'm trying just not to be like freaked out about any of it. Just
Yeah.
let life unfold on life's
Yep.
terms.
Like they're literally saying like, let go and let God, let go and let God. You gotta. Especially because one of them will do it like way, way different than a traditional wedding.
I think that'll be my middle one.
Okay. And so I'm getting like, just let it be.
And
And
that's okay. That's her.
And they're not too young. So if you're having a little bit of a fear of like, are they too young? Should they wait? Should they wait? Should they wait? They just trust that they chose their lessons and their pathways. And that if this feels like the most magical time for them, just surrender and trust to their timeline.
Oh, that's a good one.
Does that ring for you? A little bit of fear there? Like, are you too young? Oh my God, I don't
Oh,
know.
no, I mean, my husband and I got married young, and I think at least for my oldest, her and her fiance are such a great team. So there's no
Yeah.
fear there.
And they have that same kind of more traditional values marriage in that way is what they're showing me.
Yeah. And the middle one, she's just afraid to even put herself out there. So, but she's recently commented with just drama of getting the wedding ready and different things. She goes, I think I'm just going to elope. I don't know when or what, but it sounds a lot better than having to deal with like people being upset. And then the youngest, I don't know. I mean, she's 17, so we'll see.
Yeah, lots of time.
Yeah.
Lots and lots and lots of time. Okay, but so I will go back to this. Is there anything you wanted to ask?
Um, I don't, do they see a baby in the future?
Oh,
Near future?
um, I'm seeing 1 to 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So not, did they have a maybe oopsie
No, my oldest
moment?
was a maybe oopsie.
Okay. I'm getting like maybe oopsie, but not right now, not yet.
No, and it's on their timeline. I'm not pressuring by any means. It would be fun, but
It would be fun.
they're still young
Yeah.
and starting their careers and doing their thing. So,
Yeah, I'm getting 1 to 2 years and then it'll be on their radar.
okay.
And it might be like a little time from that. Like it might be 3 years before the baby's in the world.
Yeah. And anything
Yeah.
for my husband, I mean, he's working so hard on his company and he's just feeling a little burnt out.
Yeah. All right, let me just see. They're showing me like weight of the world, like
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility. And I think the way that I'm seeing it is that it's like a pressure cooker too for him to want to make sure things go well and provide for his family. So he's just in a bit of a pressure cooker, but I don't see this lightening for a bit. It's like 6 to 12 months before some of the dust settles on some of this bigger stuff. So he's going to have to just learn how to manage stress in a healthy way while he works through this season because it's a busy season, personally and professionally, is the way they show it to me.
Okay. Yeah. And
But it's not going to lighten. There is like some projects that will fall away, and some projects that will be more lucrative and less work.
oh, well, that's nice.
Like right now, it seems like they're a lot of work, and he's like, "Are these even worth the squeeze?"
Oh my gosh, he actually has a client just like that right now.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, stay the course, like one step at a time, and then other doors open.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's almost like I took the jobs because we needed the jobs and the work, but dang.
Yeah, not all clients are good clients.
Yeah. Or they're all there for a reason, but maybe let's call in ones that are better. Yeah. Yeah, but so it's kind of like some of these need to take their course and finish their way. It's not like he has a client for life. Does that make sense to you?
Yep. It
Okay.
really does.
Yeah, so it's like just let this one, or there's a couple, let a few run their course, and they'll be replaced by more lucrative, less time consuming, less pressure on him, where other people can carry the more of the load.
Okay.
It's like these ones want to call him. It's kind of the way I see it. Like ring, ring, phone, ring, ring, phone, ring, ring, phone is what they're showing me. Like his phone is like, zin, 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 zin.
Constantly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do we get to a place? And for him, he's going to have to be like, I just have quiet time where I'm like down, or like hour, 2 hours. It's like on airplane mode. I can always, there's nothing that can't be solved if I just tell my team, I got to take some downtime in my days or in my weeks.
Yeah. I think he's trying to learn that right now. So that seems
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting this is a giant, giant lesson for him, and his own expansion, his own personal expansion is like how to hold space for himself. Cause it's this like, hard work is the hallmark of how you define yourself. Like how he it just as us too in our careers, right? It's like, okay, that's where I get my confidence. That's where I know I'm crushing it. Like it's the one thing variable I can control is how hard I work. And so it's just a lesson for him to unlearn.
okay.
But it's gonna take him some time.
Yeah.
And you gotta let him come to it on his own.
And I'll just be here to support him.
That's right. Just encourage him. I am going to go back to this airplane at the beginning, though. I do see like a beach holiday, something like where you guys just go and get away with you and your husband. So just do that. Like if it's on your radar, or if you're like, should we not, like go like in the winter when it's cold and go.
Oh, I'm all about that.
Yeah, I'm getting like, look into it, see what excites you, see what lights you up, and then like a great deal will fall in your lap, and you're like, oh my god, we have to go, we have to do this. Look,
Out west, it could be a lot of things.
yeah, I'm actually seeing like Mexico beaches or something like that.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Now that you say that, this is about 9 months away. That's where my daughter wants to do her spring break for her senior trip.
Oh, okay, yeah, go,
Yeah, go.
yeah, go,
I'll just
go
say
too.
Kira said we need to go.
Yeah, well, we're coming. Hello, welcome to us.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you for letting me do that.
Oh, that was so much fun. I just, your insights and especially how it relates before I even share what's going on, like how it just like comes together.
And you're so trusting too. And I will say, your guides are really good communicators. Your angels, your team and spirit are really good communicators, and you're really good at your own connection to your guides. And so that makes my job so much easier because you have such a strong connection. And I always say that it's like you and your unbreakable cord and bond with your guides, and I'm just grabbing some info that's flowing to you in there, and I'm grabbing some signs and info and like trying to make sense of the little pieces of info that fly out of that tube of connection between you and them.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, this has been
Yeah.
really helpful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for coming on the pod too. And thanks for letting me do a reading live on air with you.
Well, hopefully people found it interesting, but I'm telling you, if they haven't done a private session with you, I would just highly, highly recommend it. I mean, I have all of the notes and it's not something I do on a regular basis, but it's just especially after doing a lot of the meditating and things on my own, there's just some extra clarity that you're able to
Yeah.
provide that I'm not quite getting, or maybe still doubting myself, right? Or what path is this that you just provide clarity on? So thank you for that.
Well, it's my pleasure. I always say it too. It's like a little spiritual tune up where we're like, okay, I'm going to trust the guidance, but okay, good. I needed those little nudges. And more often than not, when I get a reading too, it's not anything that's like way far out of what I've been thinking about, but it's more validation or confirmation or the nudge of like, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. Okay, I'm going to trust that that was a sign, that thought that came in is a sign.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
thank you. I'll
awesome.
continue
Okay.
the podcast, and if you ever want me on again, just let me know.
Well, let's come back on. We'll be a regular co-host.
Oh, I like that. Let's do it.
That'd be fun. Well, thank you, Tiffany. You're the best.
Okay. Bye, Kira.